I'm Dave Wolter.
And I'm Paul Ganson, and we were members of the University of Michigan Symphony Band in 1961 when we undertook a 15-week tour, 8 weeks in the Soviet Union and then 7 weeks in the Near East and Eastern Europe. And I know that for each of us individually, it was as much of a change in experience, outlook, and attitude for each of us as it was for the entire band and the program at the University of Michigan. And it's a change that keeps on changing. We find that especially as we look back, that it's a continual change.
Well, and it was, for me, a major step. I had never been on an airplane. And all of a sudden we spent 15 weeks on airplanes, trains, buses, taxi cabs, camels, you name it.
Horses, burros.
It was astounding to play our first concerts there in Moscow and have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever were in the particular venue, all of a sudden start to clap in rhythm together. And that was their way of asking for an encore, and the whole crowd would just be going clap, 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 all together. And at first we didn't know what was going on. I mean, because the first time that happened, but that was how the Russian or the Soviet Union audiences responded.
Yes. There were so many moments that were, each one was unique. We were told, for instance, that we were playing the first ever concert that had been played in Bethlehem.
We've gone through a lot of discussion about how did this tour happen to the University of Michigan Band, and we got the impression, and I think we carry the impression with us, that the University of Michigan Band was selected to do this trip following the New York Philharmonic, and we were selected because it was considered to be the very finest collegiate ensemble of any sort in the United States, and we were all very proud of that whole concept, and we tried to live up to those standards. You know, it was a big responsibility, but I think that we personally all succeeded many times and failed sometimes personally, but the final product that came out to the audiences, I believe, was memorable to them, and the experience for us was absolutely life-changing.
I think that what struck me for the first time that I heard the University of Michigan Symphony Band, because I heard it when I was in high school in the area, and when it came to a local high school, and then later when I came to hear the band in Hill Auditorium, was the beauty of tone. And that's as specific as I want to be. I think that people should listen to the recordings of the band, and our perception of beauty now will be different. Mine certainly is, than 50 years ago. But I still remember the unique beauty of that sound.
It's interesting because Bill Ravelli was such a fan of touring and traveling, and he talked about it all during the time that we were in the 5 years that I was in his bands. But I came out of that with such a strong feeling about the importance of sharing your music with other people and with other audiences, that right from the very first year I took my band to Canada. Now that was just across the bridge from where I was teaching, but I started taking my groups places, and when I put things together in Saline, one of the things that I insisted was that traveling with our groups was very important.
It's caused me to make decisions or to seek relationships that were related to the beauty of sound the beauty of sound as it could be cultured in an environment or with people. And I leave that to anyone's interpretation as to what do you mean, beauty of sound, beauty of musical performance, the continuity. And it's through that that I have become convinced of the absolute fundamental importance or the fundamental role of music in our lives. I think that at the beginning of human activity, and when we human beings, our ancestors, gathered together, one of the first, if not the first thing that brought them together was this musical impulse that we took the beating of the heart in 3/4 time and translated it to dance and song, and as a means of bonding, as a means of being able to face the human experience with all its torments and troubles, but also to create the beauties that would sustain civilizations.